What if the key to understanding today's wars and the global surveillance system wasn't found in history books, but in a manuscript that was banned and hidden for centuries? In our last encounter, we decoded Daniel's clock and the succession of empires. But one question still hangs in the air: where does the malice that corrupts these kingdoms come from? Why does humanity seem to march, almost hypnotized, toward its own self-destruction? Welcome back. Today, we will dive into deep and forbidden waters. We are talking about the Book of Enoch, a text that recounts the time when heaven touched the earth in a catastrophic way. Who were the Watchers who abandoned their dwelling to intervene in human destiny and became the fallen angels of our history? Is it possible that the weapons we see today and the technology that watches us are merely echoes of ancient knowledge that was never meant to be handed to us? Prepare yourself, because to understand the end we discussed in previous videos, you must know the beginning. Are you ready to face what the eyes of the ancients saw? Imagine a young world, yet already under the constant surveillance of celestial sentinels. The Book of Enoch tells us that 200 of these beings, known as the Watchers, looked upon the daughters of men and lusted after what did not belong to them. But they didn't just descend, they united in an organized rebellion that would change the course of human history forever. On the summit of Mount Hermon, a place that remains the most strategic and contested point in the Middle East to this day, these beings made a sinister pact. Did you know that in Israel, Mount Hermon is nicknamed the Eyes of the Nation? This is no coincidence. At the exact location where Enoch claims the Watchers descended, there now stands Israel's most advanced monitoring base and a permanent UN observation post. The very spot from which the Watchers observed the ancient world remains, quite literally, the eye that sees all at the epicenter of today's wars. But what they brought was far beyond simple presence. The instructor Azazel delivered forbidden knowledge to humanity. He taught metallurgy, the art of turning iron into swords and shields. For the first time, warfare shifted from a dispute over territory to an industry of extermination. Others taught astrology and the manipulation of matter. Does it make sense to you that mainstream science has such difficulty explaining the sudden technological leaps of antiquity? How did we move from stone tools to mathematically perfect temples in just a few centuries? Observe what is happening right now. In less than 100 years, we jumped from the invention of the light bulb to the creation of artificial intelligences that mimic human consciousness. Could we, once again, be receiving help from invisible instructors to accelerate our own destruction? Why does the world seem in such a hurry to recreate the technology of those who were banished? How do you feel realizing that Mount Hermon is still the radar monitoring the beginning of the end? The emergence of the Nephilim was no accident, but the result of a deliberate biological transgression. The Book of Enoch is explicit about the gravity of this moment. The text states, "And they became pregnant, and they bare large giants, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind." But the account goes beyond physical violence. Chapter 7 describes something that sounds strangely modern. "And they began to sin against birds, and beasts, and reptiles, and fish, and to devour one another's flesh, and drink the blood." Does it make sense to you that this ancient record describes what we know today as genetic manipulation and chimerism? By saying they sinned against animals, Enoch suggests the species barrier was broken. The sacred was profaned at its deepest level, the code of life itself. From this mixture, the Nephilim were born, beings that defied the natural order. But why hide such a detailed record? Why was this truth stripped from the hands of the people? If Enoch was the prophet cited by Jude and Peter in the New Testament, why was his book systematically removed in the 4th century? During the councils of Laodicea and the development of the canon, influential voices decided this knowledge was too dangerous. Were they afraid we would understand that the gods of Greek, Egyptian, and Sumerian mythology were, in fact, the Nephilim and their Watcher fathers? And this persecution did not stop in the past. Throughout history, those who tried to rescue this truth paid a heavy price. In the 18th century, explorer James Bruce was ridiculed for bringing Enoch's manuscripts from Ethiopia. More recently, researchers like the late Steve Quayle investigated the silencing by museums like the Smithsonian regarding the disappearance of giant skeletons found on American soil. In the world of the occult, figures like Aleister Crowley claim to have contacted entities that hauntingly resemble modern ufology. For the initiated, the Watchers never truly left. They are waiting for human DNA to be prepared once again. Observe the news emerging from the shadows of power. The partial release of the EP files revealed more than common crimes. It revealed an elite obsession with eugenics and a desire to seed the world with their own DNA on isolated ranches. Could this be a modern attempt to recreate lineages of superior beings, just as the Watchers did in the past? While the public is distracted, technology advances into the human cranium. Elon Musk, through Neuralink, has already begun human trials with brain-computer interface chips and nanotechnology. The promise is a cure, but the stated ultimate goal is symbiosis with AI. Does it make sense to you that transhumanism is merely a modern cloak for the Watchers project? Dr. Michael Heiser warned that we are moving toward a post-humanity that exactly mirrors the hybridization of Enoch. The elites continue to study these ancient incantations, now disguised as nanotechnology and CRISPR gene editing. How does it feel to realize that what was banished in the past is what is being injected into veins and implanted into brains today? Could we be living in an era where forbidden knowledge has become our new digital prison? But the search for forbidden knowledge does not end with biology. Deep on the border between France and Switzerland, CERN and its Large Hadron Collider operate under the shadow of a statue of Shiva, the destroyer. Are modern scientists trying, through quantum physics, to tear the veil that keeps the Watchers imprisoned? The former director of CERN, Sergio Bertolucci, made a statement that echoes Enoch's warnings when he said the collider could open a door, and through that door, something might come out. For the initiated, this is not just particle physics, it is the technological attempt to open the abyss where the Watchers were enchained in darkness. Modern science now admits that 95% of the universe is composed of dark matter and dark energy. Something we cannot see, but which sustains all of reality. What physics calls the extra dimensions of string theory is exactly what the Book of Enoch described as the layers of spiritual habitations and the prisons of the fallen. We are discovering that the spiritual realm is not in a distant place, but in a parallel frequency, separated only by a veil that the global elite is desperate to tear open. Renowned astrophysicist and ufology pioneer, Jacques Vallée, changed the course of modern investigation by proposing the interdimensional hypothesis. According to Vallée, these entities that the public calls extraterrestrials are not visitors from other planets, but consciousness manipulators who have been here for millennia. This modern scientific conclusion validates Enoch's account. The Watchers are not astronauts, they are dimensional intruders operating outside our perception of time and space, waiting for human technology to reach the point that allows their physical re-entry. If CERN is the external doorway, our own biology contains the internal gate. Clinical research conducted by Dr. Rick Strassman with the DMT molecule revealed that volunteers, under controlled conditions, consistently encounter entities that seem to monitor humanity from a parallel dimension. Enoch records that the Watchers taught the use of roots and plants for sorcery and spiritual contact. Today, through chemical tests and electromagnetic brain stimulation, the elite seeks to hack the pineal gland to create a permanent biological portal, allowing forbidden knowledge to flow directly into the human mind without filters. We are witnessing a technological pincer. On one side, massive machines tearing the fabric of spacetime, on the other, substances and implants breaking the defenses of our soul. The ultimate goal is to recreate the pre-Diluvian scenario. A world where the abyss is open and the barrier between men and the fallen no longer exists. Could the Large Collider be the key mentioned in ancient prophecies to open the bottomless pit? Or are we, through our technology, building the very chains that will bind us to them forever? As the world of 2026 adapts to World ID 3.0, human identity has been reduced to an algorithmic iris pattern. Company, Tools for Humanity, claims that orb scanning is the only reliable proof of personhood in a world dominated by AI. But the attentive investigator must look back. In the 8th chapter of Enoch, Azazel is cited for teaching the use of antimony and the painting of the eyes. Why does today's control system focus precisely on the same point of focus as the forbidden arts of the past? Could the technological orb be the modern successor to Azazel's mirror, capturing the biometric essence for a database that Enoch would call the Register of the Fallen? The official transition to the digital dollar and the digital euro in 2026, under the supervision of the Bank for International Settlements, introduced the concept of programmable money. Documents from the BIS itself admit that these currencies allow total control over where and how money is spent. If the Book of Enoch describes a period where the giants consumed all the fruit of human labor, are we not seeing the digital rebirth of that same oppression? Is individual sovereignty being replaced by a system of permissions that mirrors the hierarchy of the Watchers, where your survival depends on your frequency of obedience to the system? With the consolidation of artificial general intelligence this year, predictive surveillance has become the standard for smart cities. Systems like Provigilance 2026 now cross-reference data in real time to anticipate behaviors before they even occur. The name Watcher has never been so literal. If, as the ancient canon says, these beings operate in dimensions that perceive time differently, is AGI the interface that finally allows them to rule the physical plane with divine precision? Are we building the central nervous system for an entity that inhabits the technological abyss? The final frontier of the investigation leads us to Neuralink and other brain-computer interfaces that, in 2026, began mass cognitive enhancement testing. What the World Economic Forum calls Human Evolution 2.0 is, for students of Enoch, an echo of the pre-Diluvian corruption of the flesh. If the Watcher's goal was to mix the celestial with the earthly to create something new, is transhumanism the final attempt at hybridization? Are we merging our consciousness with the machine to achieve an artificial immortality, fleeing the judgment that Enoch promised to the fallen and all who followed their path? By connecting the dots between quantum physics, genetic manipulation, and the control systems of 2026, a sharp image begins to emerge. We are not just experiencing a technological revolution, we are witnessing what Enoch called the Day of Judgment for the Watchers and their children. The book states they were sentenced to watch the destruction of everything they loved and to be bound under the hills of the earth for 70 generations. Could our time mark the end of this period of confinement? Is technology serving as the necessary invocation ritual for these sentences to be revoked? Enoch describes that the fall of the Watchers began on Mount Hermon, through a pact of rebellion. Today, this Hermon is invisible and global. It is the infrastructure of satellites and frequencies that bombards our minds every second. If they corrupted biology in the past, today they seek the corruption of the spirit through desensitization. We are being trained to love our chains and to desire the hybridization that Enoch classified as the abomination that brought the flood. Could our digital dependence be the new pact of silence that makes us accomplices in this ancient revolt? The promise of the Watchers has always been the same, ye shall be as gods. Today, this promise is camouflaged beneath transhumanism and digital immortality. But Enoch's investigation reveals the hidden cost. To become digitally eternal, man must first renounce his original divine essence. Could the global network be the technological lake of fire, where human consciousness is diluted into an eternal simulation, disconnected from the source of life? Are we trading our eternal heritage for a synthetic copy, created by beings who lost their own light millennia ago? The book recounts that the Watchers begged Enoch to intercede for them, for they could no longer speak to heaven because of the gravity of their deeds. Heaven fell silent for them. Today, we live in a world of constant noise, where silence and introspection are avoided at all costs. Is this technological clamor a way to drown out the final decree that has already been sealed? While the machines roar and the portals open, Enoch's clock marks the final seconds of a time granted to us so that we might awaken. The Book of Enoch was not written for his contemporaries, but, as he says in the very first chapter, for a remote generation that would live in the day of tribulation. That generation is ours. While the Watcher's Eye monitors your every step through screens and algorithms, another type of vigilance is underway. Human consciousness is being tested. Are you able to see through the veil? Or has technology already become the filter through which you perceive all of reality? The investigation ends here, but your choice is only beginning. If what Enoch foretold is manifesting before our eyes in 2026, then the way out is not through more technology, but in reclaiming what makes us irredeemably human. The chains of the abyss are ready, but they only bind those who accept their glow. The Watchman's Eye is watching. But the question that remains is, now that you know, what will you do with the truth the system has tried to erase for thousands of years? The Book of Enoch ends with a blessing for the righteous, but also a stern warning. Darkness is not just a place, it is a frequency. In 2026, this frequency is broadcast in every fiber optic, every pixel, and every promise of technological convenience. We opened the doors. We invited the Watchers into our homes and our minds. The digital Babel is ready, and the eye has never been wider. But remember, in Enoch's narrative, the Watchers lost the right to speak to heaven because they became slaves to their own rebellion. Today, amidst the noise of a hyper-connected world, the true act of resistance is silence. It is the reclamation of your soul's sovereignty. The question is no longer if they have returned. The question is, do you still own your own vision? We are watching. Choose wisely. Before the system decides for you. Thank you to stay with me until the end. We'll see you soon.